Okay, hello and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the weekly newsish show that we do on this channel. And keeping true to the promise in my channel trailer, as you can see, we're making a bit more of a production out of this. Right behind me is a green screen. I've had this green screen for a while, just never knew how to properly light it. But there's actually light over here, so I can kind of like screw it up, and light over here, and yeah. Problem is, everything's so tight, and like, if you have claustrophobia, this is not the setup for you. But I digress. So, how is everybody doing this week? We've actually been on sort of a high week for us on the channel. We went ahead and did Let's Make a Game Live, and it did really, really well for us. For a brand new series, it has 10 views on it as of now, and that isn't bad at all. For a channel like ours, we kind of are happy every time we get a single view, to be completely honest. So the fact that 10 of you guys actually wanted to see it, and we've got comments on it, we've got likes, thank you guys so very, very much. I really do appreciate it. This is a project that I've been wanting to do forever now. It is really one that I've been limited by my internet connectivity for so long that I couldn't do live streams. And now that I am no longer limited, it means a lot that I'm able to actually do something, and do something that you guys like. So thank you so much for everyone who voted. Thank you everyone who watched. And there's going to be another one. Like, I enjoyed making a game live. It was actually a lot of fun. Doing all that stuff on the fly. The next episode of this is going to be delving further into the combat, which is going to actually be difficult. So I need to actually think about a lot of this stuff on how it's going to play out. So I'm actually going to do some research before the live stream. But that being said, that live stream should be happening, I want to say Saturday or Sunday next week. I'll give you guys an update later. I think Sunday, as long as my time off request at work actually went through properly. If not, I will give you guys an update, and yeah, we'll fix it if necessary. But we are going to be making a game live again next week because I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, and I'll see about doing it on all of my days off. And I did get somebody in the comments saying that they were disappointed that they could not see it live. So I'm going to try to push it back. I started at roughly 1 o'clock and ended at like 5, 6-ish. Maybe I'll go start at like 3:30 because I know most people, I can't really say. If you're working a 9 to 5, you're still gonna miss part of it. Essentially, like if you're working a 9 to 5, that time that I used was kind of terrible for it. So we're gonna push it back so that at least the second half of the stream would be viewable for anyone working a 9 to 5, and anyone in school will be able to catch probably the first portion of the stream. So I am going to hopefully figure out timing. But there will be another video much like the one that was this week where I kind of just dropped a small update video. That same thing is going to happen once we know the exact details. So more streaming coming, more making a game live coming, and I am super excited for it. We've also been very, very, very productive in the art department. If you actually check our channel, which you may or may not have been to our channel page in a very long time, we actually have new background art. It's actually the same background I'm using right over here on the green screen because I created a 1440p render of the wall that I am facing. It's actually kind of cool. We also then, you know, put up the Wolfie character, the Pie character, and the GreaterThanPie logo on there. I wanted to slip some references in, but like there's not really much room to work in the YouTube banner space, so like what I've got is perfect for that. We also changed the channel icon. I really liked the red, so we kept the red from the Nintendo Switch style one and made it a bit more cartoony and pie-ish. And as you can imagine, with all of this work and all this setup, more videos are coming. I'm actually going to be testing this exact setup for a different video type, Food for Thought. Food for Thought was a series that originated on this channel back when we first created it, and it was kind of like a theory/discussion type video, and I think Food for Thought might be really good here behind this. So yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I'm going to try it. If it's gonna work or it's gonna fail. I might actually try to do something with like the animated character as well, but yeah, as much work as I'm going to be doing on making a game live, animating on top of that might be difficult. And then finally, I kind of want to talk about something new. Well, not really new, but something new to this show. I'm actually going to kind of add in what I've been playing lately, because I talk about video games and technology and building computers, but I rarely actually talk about the games that I am playing. And those might actually be hints into future videos. So after I made the game live, after I had started doing it, it reminded me of something actually. It reminded me of a game I used to play called Dragon Fable a long time ago. And I was curious to see if the company Artix Entertainment, or Artix, I don't know if they're actually called Entertainment, is still around. They are. Surprisingly, they created Flash games that had a server login system that allowed you to make purchases and like get upgraded accounts and stuff. It was kind of different than Club Penguin because you always paid just one time. So I could log back into my account, which I did, and I still have all of my upgrades that I had bought. But then, this is why this is kind of funny. The next day, I see an alert on Google Chrome, because I had to enable Flash Player, that Flash Player is no longer going to be supported. And I was like, well, this sucks. I just got back into these old Flash games that were actually like pretty solid. Adventure Quest, Dragon Fable, Mech Quest were amazing for the time and are still pretty good games. So I kind of looked into maybe an alternative, and I found out that they actually have a launcher. Moral, like the whole story combined equals now I am actually playing a lot of Adventure Quest again instead of Dragon Fable. But it's weird because going back to these games that I played in my childhood, I would say I was like 3rd, 4th grade, below the age cap of the games. I was enjoying these games a long time ago, and to see them still alive and still being supported and updated is just kind of awesome. So I've been playing that, and I also tried their new 3D MMO, but I'm going to talk about that more later because I have a lot to say about that one. But with that, we're going to transition into game news because we've already been talking about video gaming, so let's just keep that train going. Game news, and more game news. So, what's been going on in the gaming industry? Well, No Man's Sky is finally good. Well, I think we said that once before, but now the update's actually dropped and you can enjoy it. You can now play together with friends. There's a lot more to build and create, and it's less about the weird kind of atmospheric, discombobulated storytelling and more about an actual game. So yeah, I actually plan on checking it out. I have No Man's Sky. I've had it for a very long time actually, so yeah, I should probably actually play it, maybe a little bit, just a tiny little bit. I haven't really played it since I moved, so maybe next week I'll tell you about my new obsession, No Man's Sky. Probably not, because I generally stay obsessed with the game for like 2 to 3 weeks, but still. I digress. So, Breath of the Wild was immensely popular, and is immensely popular, and has a sequel coming out very soon. But in China, they made a clone of it, called Genshin Impact. Now the funny thing about this is Chinese clones of popular games are actually pretty commonplace, mainly because up until, I think it was very, very recently, China had a ban on imported games. games had to be made in China for them to be sold in China. And at one point, they even didn't sell video games at all. So the fact that there's a clone of Breath of the Wild isn't really that big of a deal. The big part of the story is how Chinese fans are reacting. They are outraged at this clone. And that's the mind-blowing part, is the fact that Chinese clones have existed for so long that the fact that the culture has shifted enough that they're outraged at seeing this is just, it's crazy, honestly. And when you look at it, it really is a clone. It's not like I'm inspired by it. No, there are literally enemies and sounds that look like they are ripped straight from Breath of the Wild. There's actually like this towering guardian creature that's got like a laser eye, and that's its whole thing. And piano music starts to play when it attacks. It honestly, it feels like this company either was too inspired by Breath of the Wild or literally was copying source code. And unfortunately, because it is a Chinese made game, that's a possibility, that they just ripped source code and changed models. Either way, it's supposedly coming to the PS4, but people are outraged over there, and I don't even know if it's going to get an international release. But if it does, us here in the West will get to play Breath of the Wild on the PlayStation. Just not Breath of the Wild. So, if you guys have ever actually seen my Nintendo Switch, I actually have 2 pairs of green Joy-Cons. That is because my favorite color is green. I mainly wear red on camera to not conflict with green screens, but my background is green to begin with, so... But I digress. I got those 2 Joy-Cons by actually buying a Japanese version of the Splatoon 2 Joy-Cons and an American version, because they actually flip the colors for the editions. So now we're actually getting just 2 green Joy-Cons, and I'm kind of a little peeved because, you know, I went through the hard work of figuring out that the imported version had a flipped color scheme, and I have 2 pink ones that I don't really need, but now they're selling the 2 green, so if you want your Switch to look like mine, it's much easier to do than what I did. Speaking of Nintendo Switch though, we got a Indies event coming up very soon. It's actually now called Indie World. It's the replacement for the Nindies Direct. Indie World will actually be this Monday, so a bunch of new indie games are going to be announced for the Nintendo Switch, and I bet you a bunch of them will drop at the same time. Speaking of dropping though, Yooka-Laylee, the Impossible something, and A Hat in Time, which is the one I'm more interested in, are coming to the Nintendo Switch as of October. So I do believe that A Hat in Time is coming with its co-op, so that's kind of cool actually. The co-op mode is DLC on the PC version, so yeah. Having it free on the Switch? Absolutely. I plan on rebuying A Hat in Time on Switch anyway, because I like that game. It's adorable. So, moving on. Tech news. It's good for you. Let's go into the tech news. So, AMD fans have kind of been waiting for AMD to try to take on Nvidia's high-end graphics card line and drag the prices back down. And the RX 5700 is doing an okay job at kind of competing against the 2060 Super, and it's going toe-to-toe with the 2070 Super. But we really don't have anything at AMD's top end to really fight that 2080 and that 2080 Ti. So, I honestly kind of called this like a while ago, but it's been confirmed that AMD is not only working, but plans on releasing the RX 5800 and 5800 XT sometime soon. Whether or not it's Q1 of next year or Q4 of this year is yet to be determined. I'm kind of thinking Q4 of this year just because that would put them in a nice December launch, and if they price it well enough, they could actually fight Nvidia head on. Speaking of the RX 5700 XT and 5700, they finally got their custom AIB boards, and they're often much cooler than the defaults. That being said, AMD did kind of say that 110 degrees is normal for the RX 5700. So that's kind of a bummer, but I would put it underwater anyway, because I actually really love the fact that I'm standing like, that's my PC right there. You can't hear it. And if I had it under load, you still can't hear it because it's all underwater. So yeah, I'd be modding it anyway. Yeah. Custom AIB cards are the way to go if you want a cooler, quieter PC, unless you're going underwater, and then you could just get a water block and mod your GPU. All right, and then finally, the Tumblr saga. Oh God, this has been a thing, and surprisingly, this isn't someone getting angry at me on Tumblr. So back, it was like a year ago, Tumblr decided to put the kid gloves on the content, so to speak, without using words that will get this channel pushed into the adult zone. So Tumblr itself essentially got censored, and the fans didn't like it. They left because not only were adult content creators getting completely destroyed by this, but there were also perfectly normal things that Tumblr was known for. Like, Tumblr was big in the trans community, and a lot of the trans people were actually getting essentially censored. It was big with LGBT. That includes trans, but still, it was big with that community, and unfortunately, it seems like that community was actually getting attacked by the new rules. Artists were getting like blocked left and right. Unfortunately, a lot of people were just caught up in this censorship storm, and people decided to leave Tumblr. So Verizon ended up selling Tumblr to WordPress recently for like less than a quarter of what they bought it for. I think they sold it for like 1 million and they bought it for like 1 billion. So yeah, they definitely lost money on that decision. The bigger issue is the fact that WordPress has decided to keep the rules from Verizon, which I really do think is the biggest thing holding that back. Now, WordPress is probably going to try to act like this is a blog thing for their site, but I have to say, this is probably going to end poorly. It's weird that we're talking about it in this light. I remember a couple years back, like, Tumblr was known as like the cancer of the internet, but now we're talking about how like it has become a martyr almost, because on this platform, YouTube, and on Twitch, there's been a huge discussion about censorship, and now there was that site that was completely uncensored and anybody could join, and it's been completely like destroyed. And I guess in a way that's kind of made the internet like it. Sort of a weird situation if you actually like look back. So I digress. I'm gonna end this video before it gets too rambly. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, I do this video type once a week. Tell me what you think about using the green screen and lighting, having me stand instead of sit. I do seem to be a bit more on topic when I'm standing somehow. Probably because I can move and like disperse my energy, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, what you think about any of these stories. I mean, I would love to have a conversation in the comments with you guys. I do respond to comments whenever I see them, as long as they're not like trolly comments. So thank you guys again. Wolfie.